Hello friends, welcome back. It's so nice to have you with me again. This is Julie Norman and I put out planner and planner related videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, and today we're finishing up our series of 3 on planner contentment. And here I have this little stack of planners. We're going to kind of look at them, well, maybe mostly the covers on some of them, but as examples of finding the right system for you. So just to recap, what is planner contentment? Well, planner contentment is in contrast to the notion of planner peace, because we know that peace doesn't come from one of these. It comes from within us, and we have gone through defining what we really need in a planner, what we want in a planner, and also how it works with our lifestyle, our flow of what we take with us and what we leave at home, what we have time for, and then we're going to plug it into a system today that will work best for you. Be at peace with yourself and your needs, and then be content with the planner that you choose. And we're not going to just go on the shelf and go online and say, I'm just going to pick a planner at random, because there are many considerations, and we're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to link above to the whole series so you can go back. If you haven't seen those, you're welcome to look at that to know what we're talking about. So now that you've defined your needs and your wants, and you've thought about the balance that we talked about last week between your what your lifestyle and such, and your habits, and what you really need in a planner, that balance between that, let's talk about finding the system, because there are so many systems. You can spend, like I did, many days, weeks, even months looking for that perfect planner, and I just do the quotations because there is no perfect planner. I'm going to just tell you up front, there is no one planner that is going to solve all your needs. And that's a lot to put on a planner, to say this is going to keep me organized, it's going to have everything that I need, and with this planner I'm going to just be my best self. There's just everything's going to fall into place. That is something you're putting on the planner, and actually that is something that you need to take a step back and look at yourself and say, is there something, you're going to find those needs and answers in yourself, not here. But these can help you. These are tools to help you to find your way. So you've done your searching, and you've spent all this time and all this money and your energy, maybe a lot of internet time, screen time away from your family, trying to find the right planner, and you get it, and maybe it's like something like this or something like this or whatever, and you start using it and you're like, oh no, this isn't going to work, this doesn't work with me at all. And so now you've put all that resources towards something that's not working for you. So this is why the concept of planner peace is so attractive to so many of us. And it was attractive to me too, until I discovered this is not where my peace lies. And though the truth is, like I said before, there's no perfect planner. There is no one right for you, but there is a right system for you. So let us take a look at these systems and clear these away so we have some room. And I put together a little chart here. And let's see here, we can see that. Planning system chart. And it has 4 grids, and I'm going to fill it out as we go. Okay, we're going to fill out the chart now, and there are really only 2 considerations to think about as now that we boiled it all down. And the 2 is, on the top here, it's also about the structure of the planner. And this one is the internal, I'm just going to write across the top here, the internal structure. I didn't leave myself much room with the washi tape there. And the first one, internal, is the pre-made or filled, or even the guided journals and planners. And then there is also the minimal, guided, or blank. So those 2, think about between those 2, where do you enjoy using, which kind of system works best for you. And now we're going to go on the other side. So that's the internal structure. And the second one is the external structure. And that is the multiple unit or expandable. Yeah, let's just call it expandable. There's probably a better word, but I'll probably define that better later. And the other one is bound or fixed. And you can probably think about some journals already coming to mind that are going to that you're going to think about here. And so let's think about what goes into this corner, because we're going to define your corner of the planner world. So with the pre-made, and yeah, I don't have the best writing sometimes, sorry. The pre-made, the filled, and bound fixed. So the first one that comes to mind for me that I have is the Heroes Journal. And also the Silk and Sonder. Other ones that I know about, there's something, I think I've seen the Monk Journal. There's so many things like that. I think there's a Passion Planner, etc. There's so many of those. Erin Condren makes one. All of these bound ones like that. And you can probably go on and on and on and think of, there's so many in this category. So let us go across and think about a fixed planner now that has minimal guidance to it. And that is probably going to be mostly, a very minimal one. So I'm thinking about mostly blank books. Blank, bound books, journals. And there aren't so many of these because they're blank. And it's easier to market something that's already fixed than it is to market something that's mostly blank. So if you think about how many of these things that you've seen, it's because there are so many ways to do it. And here there's just like, hey, we got this kind of paper maybe, or this size. So there's not as many options on this one, just because of the nature of it. Okay, so let's go down to this corner. And now we're going to figure out a pre-made, a pre-filled one, but it also has maybe multiple units and expandable. And I'm thinking about like the Traveler's Notebooks, which I'll just say TNs. There are so many of those, and I know Erin Condren makes one. There's Hobonichi. There's like Midori. There are so many of those. I know I'm just going over that quickly. There are lots of them on Etsy. Plus, you can get printables. Those are the Traveler's Notebooks. And then there's also, kind of tentatively, the Silk and Sonder works here because it is a monthly, so it has multiple units on it. So that can kind of go into both here as well. So there are a lot of different ones, and then, there's also things like the disc bound, and so there's also things like there's disc bound options too, and those are, or you can have like binders and all kinds of those systems as well. There are many companies that will make you inserts for that or print your own. Okay, so now we have the last corner, the last square here. So we're thinking about minimal guidance or blank and multiple units expandable. And of course, again, we're thinking there's Traveler's Notebooks, there is a disc bound, there are binders, there's, all those, and basically they're blank. And now Planner Perfect kind of fits in here because they are very minimal, and they could also be here because they do have some that are, a little guided too. So those are basically the four corners of the different systems. So if you think about this, you're probably finding that there is one corner here that is probably more dominant for you, that works for you. So think about that and let me know below what yours is, and I will tell you at the end what mine is as well. So actually, I'll just tell you now. So for example, this is where I land, right here in the minimal guided and the expandable. Right here is where I land. This is where I've discovered it works well for me. So, yeah, but what am I doing with the Hero's Journal and Silk and Sonder? Sometimes I wonder, but I like them. So what happens is I'm here, but I often go into here. So there's oftentimes, you maybe you're dominant in one corner, but you're also going to flow into one next to you. Because sometimes I just want a blank book, but sometimes I want something like this. But very rarely are you going to go across diagonal. So if you're here, you may very rarely go here and again. So that's just kind of interesting how that works. So, and yeah, it's the truth. This Hero's Journal, I really like the structure and the quest, but I have such a hard time using it because it is so opposite of what I want, what I really actually work well with. So that's why I made it like an external, just a one project journal for my decluttering, because I can put all that in there and still make use of it. But it's a struggle. I don't know if I get it again because of I'm learning that it's just not for me. And the Silk and Sonder, it is also pre-made. Sometimes I have difficulty with that, but there are benefits to it because it is also here. So basically this is me. So think about where you are in this chart. So this is where the planner contentment comes in. It's because you can say, this is me here, and I'm really content here. And within this corner, there are so many options. And that is why I say there's no one planner that is going to solve all your needs, because there are a lot of options in each one. Maybe even in the blank, there's lots of options. There's so many different kinds. So that's where the contentment comes in, is finding this is me. And if you're like me here, when you see that commercial or advertisement for something that's like this, you can say, no, I'm good. I know that's not going to work for me. I'm content here. And so that this system, it's a system, it's not a specific planner that's going to give you contentment. And within these, you can do a lot of creativity, whichever one that you're in. And there's so many options. But having that boundary of each one gives you actually freedom, because boundaries actually do give freedom, because you're free to say no to what doesn't work for you and to know what will work for you. It gives you a lot of freedom to say, okay, I have freedom within the corner that I'm in. So think about where you land. And again, it may take a little tweaking if you haven't thought about this more, and you might think you're here and maybe you're there or whatever, and maybe you're a mix of two. So that may take some consideration, but come back and let me know where you fall in. And so that is basically those 3 steps and those 3 videos I hope will help you find your planner contentment and your planner system style. And remember, within each you pick, and ignore the ones that aren't. Be secure in knowing that you can choose anything in your corner, wherever you're at. And you find that freedom and your planner contentment. I thank you so much for following this series. Next week, I'm going to tell you how this process has changed my system quite a bit. Because as I was writing out these ideas to share with you, I thought I had it all together, but in reality I learned a lot as I went to think things out. This whole chart was a work in progress, and it didn't really come together until the last few days. It was in my mind, floating there, but I didn't actually concretely put it down. But it helped to define it, and actually I believe this is a very good tool for anyone looking for the right planner. So next week I'm going to tell you a little bit about my struggles with this. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will subscribe to tune in for the next series that I'm going to do next month, and continue to support, and I thank you so much. Okay guys, I'm going to start a little add-on to each of mine, which is called the PS, postscript. And I have a little update from earlier this week, where I reviewed all the pens that would fit work in a Silk and Sonder, and I had these 2 Tombos. I got a pack of 2, and one of them is black and one is blue, and I was like, I don't know what the difference is. Well, all I had to do was start writing with them. So this is the black one, and I'll just write Tombow here. Okay, so that's the black one and the blue one. So the difference, it may not look like a big difference, but this one is stiffer than this one, because this one has more of the brushy part, and this one's thinner. It feels a little more stiffer. So there is a difference between the black and the blue. The black is thicker, the blue cover is not. I really wish that this wasn't blue, because so many times we reach for blue and think we're going to have blue. So that's going to probably confuse me, but it's the only kind of pen I have that's going to do that. So just a little postscript for you. I discovered that. And also, we just reached 200 subscribers. I know that it's a small milestone, but it is a milestone because it took 9 months for the first 100. Granted, a lot of my early videos aren't very good. I have like, wow, I've come a long ways. I'm still a long ways to go. And it took 3 weeks for the last second 100 subscribers. So I appreciate each and every one of you for stopping by, for your likes, your wonderful comments. I feel like we could be friends too. So thank you so much, and have a joyful day. Goodbye.